The billionaire's daughter suffered every day until the new maid found something scary in her hair. Little Julie sat in the big leather chair. Her hands shook. Her blue eyes were wet with tears. The hairstylist stared at her. Her mouth was open. Her scissors fell to the floor with a loud crash. Behind them, a man in a fancy suit grabbed his head. His face turned white. He looked like he saw a ghost. But let me tell you how we got here. This story will break your heart, and then it will put it back together again. Before we continue, let us know in the comments section where you are watching from. And remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the story. Now, let's continue. Julie was only 7 years old. She lived in the biggest house you've ever seen. It had 20 rooms. It had a swimming pool with a waterfall. It had gardens with flowers from every country in the world. Rose gardens, tulip gardens, gardens with trees that bloomed in pink and white. But Julie was the saddest girl in the whole city. Her daddy was Raymond Taylor. He owned banks. He owned buildings. He owned hotels and restaurants and companies. He owned so many things that even he couldn't count them all. People said his name in whispers. They said it with respect and fear. People called him a billionaire. That means he had more money than most people could even imagine. But money can't buy everything. And what Julie needed most, money couldn't buy. Julie's mommy died when Julie was just 3 years old. A car accident on a rainy night. Julie barely remembered her. Just a soft voice singing lullabies. Just a sweet smell like vanilla and flowers. Just warm arms that held her tight when she had bad dreams. Just a gentle hand brushing her hair before bed. After mommy died, daddy changed. He stopped smiling. He stopped laughing. He looked older, like the light had gone out of his eyes. He worked all the time. He left the house before the sun came up. He came home after Julie went to bed. Sometimes Julie didn't see him for days. Sometimes a whole week would pass, and Julie would only hear his voice through the doors. Only see his shadow in the hallway late at night. The big house felt empty. The hallways were too quiet. Julie's footsteps echoed when she walked. Every room felt cold, even in summer. Even with the fireplaces lit in winter, she had toys. Oh, she had so many toys. Her playroom was bigger than most people's houses. Dolls from France, stuffed animals from Germany, board games and puzzles, and a train set that went all around the room. Books with beautiful pictures, art supplies, and everything a child could want. But toys can't hug you. Toys can't tell you everything will be okay. Toys can't tuck you in at night. Toys can't kiss your forehead and say, "I love you." Julie would sit in that big playroom surrounded by 1,000 toys, and she felt more alone than if she had nothing at all. Julie's nanny was named Mrs. Parker. She was a tall woman with gray hair pulled back so tight it looked painful. She had a sharp face and cold gray eyes that never smiled. Her mouth was always pressed in a thin line, like she tasted something bitter. Mrs. Parker didn't like children. She especially didn't like Julie. "Don't touch that." Mrs. Parker would snap when Julie reached for anything. "Don't make noise. Don't run in the house. Don't bother me. Go to your room." Her voice was like ice. Cold and hard. Julie tried to be good. She really did. She tried so hard. She stayed quiet. She walked slowly. She stayed in her room for hours and hours. She didn't ask for anything. She barely spoke at all. But it didn't matter. Mrs. Parker was always angry. When Julie spilled her juice at breakfast, Mrs. Parker yelled. When Julie forgot to make her bed perfectly with the corners just so, Mrs. Parker yelled. When Julie's hands shook and she dropped a plate, Mrs. Parker yelled even louder. When Julie cried because she missed her mommy, Mrs. Parker yelled the loudest of all. "You're a spoiled little brat," Mrs. Parker would say, her voice sharp as knives. "You have everything. You live in a mansion. You have every toy. You should be grateful. You should never cry." But Julie didn't have everything. She didn't have the one thing she wanted most. She didn't have love. She wanted someone to love her, someone to hold her, someone took care. The worst part was Julie's hair. Julie had beautiful blonde hair, long and soft and golden like sunshine. Her mommy used to brush it every single night, 100 strokes. Her mommy would sing while she brushed songs about stars and dreams and how much she loved Julie. Julie remembered that those memories were precious like jewels. But Mrs. Parker never brushed Julie's hair. Never. Not once. Not ever. "I don't have time for that," she would say, waving her hand like Julie was a fly buzzing around. "Brush it yourself. You're old enough." Julie tried. She really tried, but she was only 7. Her arms got tired. They ached. She couldn't reach the back of her head. The brush got stuck in the knots. She pulled and pulled until tears ran down her face, but the knots wouldn't come out. Every day, Julie's hair got more tangled. Every day, it got harder to brush. Every day, the knots grew bigger and tighter. Every day, Julie felt more ashamed. She wore her hair down to hide the knots. She didn't look at mirrors anymore. She couldn't bear to see. At night, alone in her big bed, Julie would cry into her pillow. Her head hurt where the tangles pulled at her scalp. But she was too embarrassed to tell anyone. She thought she was a bad girl, a dirty girl, a girl nobody could love. Across the city in a small apartment lived a young woman named Mabel. Mabel was a hairstylist. She worked at a salon downtown. She was good at her job, really good. She loved making people feel beautiful. She loved it when someone sat in her chair, looking sad and walked out smiling. Mabel had worked at the salon since she was 18. She went to beauty school right after high school. She learned everything about hair. How to cut it, how to style it, how to color it, how to fix damaged hair, how to work with tangles and mats. She was especially good with children. Kids who were scared of haircuts, kids who cried, kids with special needs who needed extra patience and care. But Mabel had a problem. Her mama was sick, very sick, with cancer. The medicine was expensive. The hospital bills were piling up like mountains. Mabel worked as many hours as she could at the salon. She took every client. She worked weekends. She worked holidays. But it wasn't enough. It was never enough. The bills kept coming. Red letters, final notices, threats to stop treatment. Mabel was desperate. She needed more money. She needed it fast. One night, Mabel was looking through help. Wanted ads online. Her eyes were tired. Her heart was heavy. She needed a miracle. Then she saw it. Housekeeper wanted for private estate, live-in position, excellent pay, room and board included. The pay was listed. Mabel's heart jumped. It was more than she made in a month at the salon, maybe even 2 months. If she took this job, she could pay for Mama's treatment. She could pay the bills. She could save her Mama's life. Mabel's hands shook as she dialed the number. 3 days later, she had an interview at the biggest house she'd ever seen. It looked like a palace, like something from a fairy tale. Iron gates. A long driveway lined with trees, fountains, and gardens everywhere. A tired-looking man in an expensive suit met her at the door. Mr. Raymond Taylor. His hair had grayed at the temples. His eyes were sad even when he tried to smile. He looked like he carried the weight of the world on his shoulders. "We need someone to help with the house," he said, barely looking at her. He kept checking his phone. Cooking, cleaning, and general household management. The position includes a room and meals. "Can you start immediately?" "Yes," Mabel said. "I can start whenever you need me." "You start Monday," he said. He didn't ask about her experience. He didn't ask for references. He seemed too tired to care. Just like that, Mabel became a housekeeper. She felt guilty about leaving the salon. But her boss understood. Family comes first. And her boss said, "Your mama needs you." Mabel packed her things. She said goodbye to her little apartment. She moved into the mansion. She didn't know that this decision would change 2 lives forever. Mabel's first day was a Monday morning. The house was even bigger on the inside. Marble floors so shiny you could see your reflection. Crystal chandeliers that sparkled like diamonds. Paintings that looked like they belonged in museums. Furniture that probably costs more than cars. But something felt wrong. The house was too quiet, too cold. It didn't feel like a home. It felt like a museum. Beautiful but empty. Beautiful but sad. An older woman with a pinched face met Mabel in the kitchen. Mrs. Parker, the head of household staff. "You'll handle the cooking and light cleaning," Mrs. Parker said. Her voice was as cold as her eyes. "Don't bother Mr. Taylor. He's very busy. Very important. Don't go into his office and stay out of the child's way." "There's a child?" Mabel asked. Nobody had mentioned a child. "Mr. Taylor's daughter, Julie. She's 7. She's no concern of yours. Just make meals and clean. That's all." Mrs. Parker turned away like the conversation was over. But Mabel's heart stirred. A 7-year-old girl living in this cold, quiet house. Later that morning, Mabel was in the hallway. She was looking at the family photos on the wall. There were pictures of Mr. Taylor when he was younger, smiling, happy pictures with a beautiful woman, his wife, Mabel guessed, pictures of them holding a baby, a little blonde baby with blue eyes. But the pictures stopped like time stopped, like happiness ended. Then Mabel heard footsteps. Soft footsteps like a mouse. She turned and saw her. A tiny girl with long blonde hair. So thin, so pale. She looked like a little ghost drifting through the house. The girl wore a pink dress that was too big. Her eyes were blue. So blue, but so sad, like they'd seen too much sadness for a 7-year-old. Mabel's heart broke just looking at her. "Hello," Mabel said softly. She knelt down to be at eye level. She smiled her warmest smile. "You must be Julie. I'm Mabel. I just started working here. It's so nice to meet you." The little girl's eyes went wide, like she was surprised someone was talking to her, like she wasn't used to people being kind. "Hello," Julie whispered. Her voice was so quiet, like she was afraid to take up space even with her voice. "I'm going to be cooking meals," Mabel said. "Do you have a favorite food? I'd love to make it for you." Julie just stared like she didn't know how to answer, like nobody had ever asked her what she liked before. "It's okay," Mabel said gently. "You can think about it. We have lots of time." For just a second, Julie almost smiled. Just the tiniest lift at the corners of her mouth. Then she looked down and hurried away, her footsteps echoing in the big hallway. But Mabel saw something in that moment. She saw a lonely, scared little girl who needed help, who needed love, who needed someone to care. Mabel decided right then that she would be that someone. Mabel started paying attention to Julie. She noticed that Julie ate breakfast alone every morning. The little girl sat at the huge dining table all by herself. The table could seat 20 people, but only Julie sat there. One tiny girl at a massive table, picking at her food, barely eating anything. Mabel couldn't stand it. The next morning, Mabel made special pancakes. She shaped them like hearts and stars. She made eggs with smiley faces made from bacon. She cut strawberries and arranged them like flowers. "Good morning, sunshine," Mabel said when Julie came into the kitchen. Julie stopped. She stared at Mabel like she didn't understand why someone was being nice to her. "I made breakfast," Mabel said. "Come sit." Julie sat down slowly. She looked at the plate at the heart-shaped pancakes and the smiley face eggs. "Nobody ever," Julie whispered. Then she stopped. "Nobody ever what, sweetie?" Mabel asked gently. "Nobody ever makes special food for me," Julie said quietly. Mabel's heart squeezed tight. "Well, I will every day because you're special." Julie's eyes filled with tears, but she smiled. A real smile. Small but real. She ate every bite. For the first time in months, she ate a whole meal. Every day after that, Mabel made a special breakfast. She talked to Julie while she cooked. She asked Julie questions. Real questions. "What's your favorite color?" "Blue," Julie whispered, "like my mommy's eyes." "That's a beautiful reason to love blue." "What's your favorite animal?" "Rabbits. I have a stuffed rabbit named Mr. Hoppy." "Do you like to draw?" "I used to, but nobody looks at my drawings. I want to see them. Will you show me?" Julie nodded. Her eyes got bright. That afternoon, Julie showed Mabel her drawings. Pictures of flowers and stars and rabbits. Pictures of a house with people smiling. Pictures of what Julie wished her life could be. "These are beautiful," Mabel said, and she meant it. "You're a real artist," Julie beamed. Every day, Mabel and Julie got closer. Julie started talking more, smiling more, started eating more. For the first time in years, Julie felt seen. She felt heard. She felt like maybe, just maybe, she mattered to someone. But there was one thing Julie never talked about. She never talked about her hair. Mabel started noticing things about Julie's hair. Julie always wore it down. Boys. Even on the hottest days, when sweat dripped down her face. Even when they baked cookies together and the kitchen got steaming hot. Julie never let anyone touch her hair. When Mabel reached to tuck a strand behind Julie's ear, Julie pulled away fast like it hurt. Julie's hairline looked red sometimes, irritated, sore, like something was wrong. One day, Mabel saw Julie wince when she turned her head too fast. Just a tiny wince, a flash of pain across her face. Mabel's hairstylist instincts kicked in. Something was very wrong. That night, Mabel knocked softly on Julie's bedroom door. "Julie, sweetie, can we talk?" "Okay," came the small voice. Mabel sat on Julie's bed. The bed was huge. Julie looked so tiny in it, so lost. "Julie," Mabel said gently, "I want to ask you something, and I need you to know you can tell me anything. I promise I won't be mad. I promise I'll help you no matter what. Okay?" Julie looked down at her hands. She twisted them together. Her heart was beating so fast. Mabel could see it. "Is something wrong with your hair, sweetheart?" Julie's eyes filled with tears instantly. She tried to hold them back. She tried so hard, but she couldn't. They spilled over and ran down her cheeks. I can't brush it," Julie whispered. Her voice broke like glass shattering. "It hurts so much and I tried. I really, really tried, but I can't do it. I can't reach. It's all tangled. And I know I'm bad. I know I'm dirty. I know I'm disgusting, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to fix it." Then Julie started crying. Really crying. Years of pain and shame and loneliness came pouring out. Her whole body shook with sobs. Mabel felt tears in her own eyes. She pulled Julie into her arms. She held her tight. "Oh, sweet girl," Mabel whispered. "You're not bad. You're not dirty. You're not disgusting. You're just a little girl who needs help. And there's no shame in that. None at all. Do you hear me?" Julie cried into Mabel's shoulder. She cried for a long time. Mabel just held her. She stroked her back. She whispered soft, comforting words. She let Julie cry it all out. When Julie's crying finally slowed down, Mabel pulled back gently. "Julie, I need to tell you something." Mabel said, "Before I came here, I was a hairstylist. I worked at a salon for many years. I know all about hair. I've helped lots of kids with tangled hair. I can help you. Will you let me look?" Julie was terrified, but she trusted Mabel. She nodded. Slowly, Julie turned around. Mabel gently lifted Julie's long hair. What Mabel saw made her gasp out loud, made her blood run cold, made her stomach drop. At the back of Julie's head was a massive tangle of matted hair. It was huge, the size of a softball, maybe even bigger. The hair was so matted and tangled that it looked like one solid mass, like a rock growing out of Julie's head. But that wasn't the worst part. When Mabel looked closer using the light from her phone, she saw Julie's scalp underneath. It was red, bright red, raw, angry. There were open sores. Some were bleeding. Some had pus. Some looked infected. Mabel's professional eye saw it immediately. This was a serious infection. And then something moved. Mabel's heart stopped. Bugs, lice, crawling through the matted hair. So many of them. They'd been living there for who knows how long. Making a home, laying eggs, multiplying. The matted hair had created the perfect place for them. Dark, warm, hidden, protected. And with the open sores and the infection, Julie was in real danger. "Oh my God," Mabel whispered. Her hands were shaking. Tears were running down her face. "Oh, sweet baby, how long has it been like this?" "I don't know," Julie whispered through her tears. Maybe a year, maybe longer. I can't remember when it started." "A year? Maybe longer." This precious child had been suffering for over a year, living with pain every single day. Pain and shame and fear. And nobody noticed. Nobody helped. Nobody cared. Mabel felt sick. She felt angry. So angry. But she kept her voice calm and gentle for Julie. "Listen to me very carefully, Julie," Mabel said firmly. She held Julie's face in her hands. She looked right into her eyes. "This is not your fault. Do you hear me? This is not your fault. You're a child. You're 7 years old. Someone should have been taking care of you. Someone should have been brushing your hair. Someone should have noticed you were hurting. This is not your fault. Mrs. Parker said I should do it myself." Julie whispered hard. It hurt. Her hands balled into fists. But she took a deep breath. "Mrs. Parker was wrong," Mabel said. Her voice was hard as steel. "So wrong. You needed help. You still need help. And we're going to get it for you right now." Mabel didn't waste a single second. She stood up. She marched straight to Mr. Taylor's study. She didn't care that it was late. She didn't care that he was busy. She knocked hard on the door. Hard enough that her knuckles hurt. "Come in," his tired voice called. Mabel opened the door. Mr. Taylor was at his desk, papers everywhere, his laptop open, 3 computer screens showing charts and numbers, his phone buzzing and beeping. He looked exhausted with dark circles under his eyes, but he didn't look up. "Mr. Taylor," Mabel said. Her voice was shaking, not with fear, but with rage. Pure rage. "We need to talk about Julie right now. This very second. This can't wait." Something in Mabel's voice made him look up. He saw her face. Her eyes were blazing. Her jaw set. His eyes went wide with concern. "What is it?" he asked, standing up quickly. "Is she hurt? Is she sick? What happened? When was the last time you actually looked at your daughter?" Mabel demanded. "Really looked at her? Not just a glance. Really looked." Mr. Taylor frowned. Confusion crossed his face. "What are you talking about? I don't understand. When was the last time you looked at her hair, Mr. Taylor? Her hair?" He looked completely confused. "What does her hair have to do with anything?" I don't please," Mabel said. Her voice softened just slightly. "Please, just come with me right now. You need to see this. You need to see what's happening to your daughter. What's been happening for over a year while you've been in this office." The look in Mabel's eyes scared him. Really scared him. He stood up. His expensive chair rolled back and hit the wall. He followed Mabel down the hallway. His heart was pounding. What was happening? What was wrong with Julie? They went to Julie's room. Julie was sitting on her bed. She looked so small, so scared. Her face was red and puffy from crying. When she saw her father, she looked terrified. "Julie," Mabel said gently, "can you show your daddy? Can you show him what we talked about?" Julie looked at her father. She hadn't really talked to him in months. She was so scared. What if he got angry? What if he thought she was disgusting? What if he sent her away? But she trusted Mabel. She turned around slowly. With shaking hands, she lifted her hair. Mr. Taylor looked. For the first time in over a year, Raymond Taylor really looked at his daughter. All the color drained from his face. His face went white as paper. His mouth opened, but no sound came out. His eyes went wide with horror. His hand went to his chest like he was having a heart attack. He whispered. His voice cracked, broke. "How did this happen? How did I not? How did I not know?" "She's been suffering for over a year," Mabel said. Her voice was cold, hard, and accusing. She needed help. She needed care. She needed someone to pay attention. She needed her father, but everyone was too busy. Mr. Taylor stumbled backward. He grabbed the door frame to steady himself. He looked like he might fall down. He looked like he might throw up. He stared at his daughter, this tiny girl, this baby. His baby with an infected scalp covered in sores, with matted hair full of bugs, with tears running down her face. His little girl, his Julie, his precious Julie, who looked just like her mother. "Julie," he whispered. He fell to his knees, literally fell to the floor. Tears started running down his face. "Julie, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you say something?" Julie's voice was so small, so broken. "You're always gone, Daddy. You're always working. You're always busy. And I thought you didn't love me anymore. I thought maybe you wished I had died instead of Mommy." Those words destroyed Raymond Taylor. They hit him like bullets. Each one found its mark. Each one tore through his heart. "Oh God," he whispered. Tears poured down his face. "Oh God. Julio. No, baby. I love you. I love you so much. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. We need to take her to the emergency room right now," Mabel said firmly. "That infection looks serious. Really serious, and the lice infestation is severe. She needs medical treatment immediately." "Yes," Mr. Taylor said, wiping his face. "Yes, of course. Right now. My car. We'll go right now." "Actually," Mabel said slowly, "I have a better idea. I used to be a hairstylist. I still know people in the business. My best friend from beauty school owns her own salon now. She specializes in severe matting cases. She works with kids with special needs, kids who've been neglected, with medical situations, things regular salons won't touch. She's the best in the city. Will she see us tonight?" Mr. Taylor asked desperately. "Right now." Mabel pulled out her phone. She called. She explained everything in quick, urgent words. "She'll meet us at her salon in 30 minutes, Mabel said. "After she sees how bad it is, we'll take Julie straight to the emergency room. But Susan can help us. She might be able to save most of Julie's hair. If we go to the hospital, they'll just cut it all off with medical scissors. Julie's been through enough. Let's try to save her hair if we can." 25 minutes later, they pulled up to a small salon in a nice neighborhood. The lights were off except for one in the back. A woman came to the door. She looked like Mabel. Same warm brown eyes, same kind smile. "Susan." "Hi, sweetheart," Susan said softly to Julie. She knelt down. "My name is Susan. I'm Mabel's best friend. We went to beauty school together. I've helped lots of kids with tangled hair. I'm going to help you too." "Okay, I promise to be as gentle as I can." Julie nodded. She held Mabel's hand tight, so tight. They went inside. The salon was cozy. Pictures of happy clients on the walls. The smell of shampoo and coconut and flowers. Soft music playing. It felt safe. Susan led Julie to a special chair. A chair made for kids. Julie climbed up. Her little legs didn't quite reach the footrest. Mabel stood right next to her, holding her hand. Mr. Taylor stood behind them, his hands on his head. He couldn't stop crying. Susan gently lifted Julie's hair. Her face went pale. Her mouth dropped open. The scissors in her hand clattered to the floor. Mr. Taylor saw her expression. He grabbed his head. He looked like he might pass out. "This is..." Susan started. She couldn't finish. She looked at Mabel. Her eyes said everything. This was one of the worst cases she'd ever seen in 15 years of doing hair. Susan took a deep breath. She pulled herself together. Professional, calm, strong. "Okay," Susan said gently. She looked at Julie with kind eyes. "Julie, sweetheart, I'm not going to lie to you. This is going to take a long time. Maybe 3 or 4 hours, maybe longer, and some parts might hurt a little bit, but I promise to be as gentle as I possibly can, and Mabel will be right here the whole time." Julie nodded. Tears ran down her cheeks. "You're so brave," Susan said. So brave." Susan started working. She started by treating the lice. She applied special medicine. Medicine that would kill the bugs but wouldn't hurt Julie. She was so careful around the open sores. Then she started on the matted hair. She didn't use scissors. Not yet. She used her fingers. Tiny bottles of special oils. Detangling sprays. Conditioner. Patience. So much patience. She worked slowly. So slowly, one tiny section at a time. Julie cried sometimes. It hurt. Not because Susan was rough. Susan was so gentle. But the hair had been matted for so long, it pulled at Julie's scalp, no matter how gentle Susan was. I know, baby, Mabel whispered, holding Julie's hand. I know it hurts. You're doing so good. So good. Mr. Taylor watched it all. He couldn't look away. He saw what his daughter had been going through, what she'd been suffering alone for over a year. He'd been so consumed by his grief over losing his wife that he'd forgotten he still had his daughter. His precious daughter, who needed him, who loved him, who was suffering right in front of him, while he buried himself in work. Hours passed. Susan worked and worked. Her hands got tired. But she didn't stop. Slowly, slowly, the matted hair started to loosen, started to separate, started to become hair again instead of one solid mass. You're doing great, Julie, Susan said. We're making really good progress. Finally, after 4 hours, Susan stepped back. I did it, she said. Her voice was full of relief. I got all the tangles out. I didn't have to cut any hair. But Susan's face got serious. The infection is bad, though. Really bad. We need to take her to the hospital tonight, right now. They went to the emergency room. The doctors cleaned Julie's scalp. They put medicine on the sores. They gave Julie antibiotics, strong ones. She'll need to take these for 2 weeks, the doctor said. And she'll need to come back for follow-up visits. The infection was severe, but we caught it in time. She's going to be okay. Julie fell asleep in the car on the way home, exhausted, but her hair was clean, brushed, free of tangles, free of bugs. Mr. Taylor carried her inside. He carried her to her room. He tucked her into bed. He kissed her forehead. I'm so sorry, Julie, he whispered. I'm going to be better. I promise. I'm going to be the daddy you deserve. The next morning, Mr. Taylor did something he hadn't done in 2 years. He didn't go to work. He called his assistant. Clear my schedule for the next 2 weeks. He said, all of it. Every meeting, every call, everything. My daughter needs me, and she's more important than any business deal. When Julie woke up, her daddy was sitting in a chair next to her bed. Daddy, she said. She looked confused. Why aren't you at work? Because I'm exactly where I need to be, he said. Right here with you. Julie's eyes got wide. That day, Mr. Taylor and Julie spent the whole day together. They played games. They read books. They watched Julie's favorite movies. They ate lunch together. They went outside and looked at the flowers in the garden. Mr. Taylor really looked at his daughter. He really listened. He really paid attention. And for the first time in 2 years, he felt alive again because Julie was giggling. Julie was smiling. Julie was happy. Mrs. Parker was fired that same day. Pack your things and leave, Mr. Taylor told her. His voice was cold. You neglected my daughter. You failed in your one job. I don't ever want to see you again. Mrs. Parker tried to argue, but Mr. Taylor called security. She was escorted out. Mabel became Julie's nanny, her official nanny, with a big raise. In a promise that she could still pay for her mama's medical bills. You saved my daughter, Mr. Taylor said to Mabel. How can I ever thank you? Just be there for her, Mabel said. That's all she needs. Just love her. Every single night after that, Mr. Taylor brushed Julie's hair 100 strokes. Just like Julie's mother used to do. And while he brushed, he talked to Julie. Really talked. He asked about her day, her feelings, her dreams, her fears. I love you, Julie, he said every night. I'm so sorry I forgot to show you. But I never stopped loving you. Not for 1 second. I love you too, Daddy, Julie would say. And slowly, day by day, week by week, Julie healed. Her scalp healed. The sores went away. Her hair grew thick and beautiful again. But more than that, her heart healed. She wasn't sad anymore. She wasn't lonely. She wasn't invisible. She was loved. She was seen. She was cherished. 1 year later, Julie's life was completely different. She went to a new school now, a school where she made friends, real friends who came over for playdates. She took art classes. Her drawings hung all over the house. Her daddy was so proud. She smiled all the time. She laughed. She played. Now she was turning 8 years old. She had her birthday. A big party with all her friends. Balloons and cake and games. It was the best day of her life. Mr. Taylor worked less now. He still ran his companies, but he left at 5 o'clock every day. He had dinner with Julie every night. He never missed it, not once. Mabel still lived with them. She was family now, like an aunt to Julie. They baked together. They did crafts together. They talked and laughed together. And Mr. Taylor finally opened his heart again. He finally let himself grieve his wife properly. He went to therapy. He talked about his feelings. He healed. One evening, Mr. Taylor was brushing Julie's hair before bed, their nightly ritual. "Daddy," Julie said. "Yes, sweetheart. Remember when my hair got all tangled and Mabel helped me?" "I remember," Mr. Taylor said softly. "I'm glad it happened," Julie said. Mr. Taylor stopped brushing. "What? But?" "Because if it didn't happen, Mabel wouldn't have helped me, and then you wouldn't have come back. I got my daddy back. So I'm glad." Mr. Taylor's eyes filled with tears. He hugged Julie tight. "You always had me, Julie," he said. "I was just lost for a while, but you and Mabel helped me find my way home. Thank you for not giving up on me." "I'll never give up on you, Daddy." Julie said, "I love you. I love you too, baby, so much." And they lived happily, not perfectly, but happily together as a family. Because sometimes the worst moments in our lives lead us to the best changes. Sometimes we have to hit rock bottom before we can climb back up. Mabel was that brave person. She saw a little girl suffering and she did something about it. She didn't look the other way. She didn't stay quiet. She spoke up. She helped. She saved Julie's life in more ways than one. So, what do you think about this story? Have you ever felt invisible like Julie did? Have you ever been brave like Mabel and helped someone who needed it? Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change someone's whole life. Sometimes just paying attention to someone can save them. If this story touched your heart, if it made you feel something, please hit that subscribe button right now. Subscribe to this channel for more amazing, heartfelt stories that will make you cry, make you smile, and remind you that love and kindness can heal anything. Every single story we share is meant to inspire you, to move you, to remind you what really matters in life. We post new emotional stories frequently. Don't miss them. Subscribe now and hit that notification bell so you never miss a story. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. And remember, always be kind. You never know who needs it,